Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the newest episode of the Theater Enthusiast podcast. I'm so delighted to welcome our next guest. They are a Tony nominated performer. They currently are starring in the revival of Heathers at New World Stages, which I have to say, I actually saw the original production and I loved it. And one of my merch regrets is not buying a big fun crop top that they had back in the day. I don't know what they
Mhm.
have now, but I'm very much looking forward to looking at the merch to see if there's anything similar to that. But please welcome Kerry Butler. Just a round of applause.
Hello.
Hello. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm so delighted to speak with you. I've actually have been a longtime fan of yours ever since I saw you in Hairspray.
Oh,
That is
thank
how
you.
old I am. I saw
Well, same.
yeah, I saw the original cast of Hairspray, and what I remembered from that is, like everyone else, falling in love with Matthew Morrison,
Yeah,
loving
yes.
the show, and having an understudy for seaweed. So
Oh.
yeah, I will never forget that because whenever my family, well, we used to do this, but we always would see a show the day after Thanksgiving, and there would always tend to be an understudy somewhere in the mix. So that night just happened to be seaweed, but all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's,
again, thank you so much for coming on. I usually start the podcast with where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn,
Brooklyn?
so easy commute into Manhattan for Broadway.
Yeah. And so you first fell in love with theater by seeing a production of Annie, and then
Yes.
years later you got cast in the role of Annie. Or were
Well,
you
I wouldn't
in
say
Annie?
years later. Like I
Oh,
saw, yeah. Well, I was like 9, I guess, when I saw Annie, and
okay.
then that made me want to be an actress. And so then my mom, even it's so funny. Like being from Brooklyn back then, going into the city was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like my friends were like, wow, you're going into the city. And so I didn't, so my mom like brought me to our community theater and I auditioned for Annie there. But then I also auditioned for the Broadway show. I standed in like the open call with tons of kids that was announced in the newspaper, and I even like got my picture in the newspaper, and I had a quote in the newspaper about like wanting to get into Annie. And I said, as a kid, like we have it in a scrapbook, like I like to sing and I like the money.
That's excellent.
But
You
yeah,
knew
but
what
we
you
have like,
wanted at a young
yeah,
age.
yeah, I still, I like to sing and I like the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad way to go. And you have a pretty amazing career. So, singing and the money and performing, all that, it goes hand in hand. So, what made you decide Ithaca College for musical theater?
Oh, okay. So then my mom did start taking me in, my mom and dad started taking me into the city. And I first got this showcase called Young Stars. I don't know if you've heard about it, where kids, Sarah Jessica Parker was in it. So
Oh, wow.
all kids in Broadway shows performed. Seth Rudetsky did it with me.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was on the Upper East Side, and we would get paid in ice cream sundaes. So we everybody like had a solo, and Seth always jokes because all the kids in the Broadway shows would have like the names on their shirts, like Annie, Peter Pan, and me
Mhm.
and Seth were like Haynes because we never made it on Broadway. But so I started doing that. I got an agent from doing that.
Mhm.
And so then I started auditioning for real things in the business from when I was like 9 years old. And I would did a ton of cabaret as a kid. I did a ton of, I was the only kid with all like adults just singing at Don't Tell Mamas.
Yeah.
And so the people that I would work with then that I respected, one of the people I loved said that they went to Ithaca, and I was like, oh, well, this is a professional person, so it must be
Yeah.
a good program. So I went to see Ithaca because of the people that I was, performing with in these cabarets, and I loved the campus. And I really wanted a school where I would have like a normal education and not just be around theater people. Not that
Mhm.
I don't love theater people, obviously, but I like both worlds. And so that was what was great about Ithaca.
That's great. And so then right after college, did you still have an agent in college, or was it just kind of like I'm going to university, college, whatever, but so I'm going to take a back seat for the moment?
Yeah, I still had an agent. And so I would go on auditions during my breaks, I
Hmm.
would always go on audition. I didn't, we didn't do, so I couldn't audition for anything while I was actually at college. But when I
Hmm.
would come home, and I actually paid for my college with money I made from TV commercials. Like I never got like any Broadway. I never got any like big theater as a kid, but I did a ton of TV commercials. And so that was amazing. And that was my summer job. It was so great.
Yeah. And so what was it like once you graduated booking, Oklahoma and going on tour with that?
So my agents
Hmm.
who I had since when I was a little kid,
Yeah.
they didn't think I could be an actress. I did tons of TV commercials, but they were like, yeah, you're just not good enough to. So they kind of didn't want to submit me. And when I went to college, you know how you're taught to be much more artistic than marketable. So they were like, why don't you come in and do some monologues from college? And so I did something from like Ionesco, something like so out there. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, just be yourself. And so anyway, I ended up, you know how you do, our school had a showcase. I did a showcase and I got a different agent at the showcase because my agent wasn't sending me out and didn't believe in me.
Yeah.
I got a new agent, and then they started sending me out. And so that's who I got. My first job out of college was the European tour. So I got paid to see Europe, just like, all the kids who wanted to backpack through Europe, except I was doing a show. We had one-nighters all the time. I went like everywhere in Germany. It was really, really fun.
Yeah. You got to sing. You like the money. So you got paid and you got to travel Europe. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty incredible. So, it's me because I feel like Blood Brothers isn't mentioned enough in the zeitgeist, and that's actually the second Broadway show I ever saw. And I remember like because I've been seeing shows since I was five, again, aging myself, but
Did you grow up in the city too?
I'm from Long Island.
Oh, okay. So same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So I remember it was the Cassidy brothers. It was David and Patrick
Yes.
Cassidy who were in it. And my mom, like, we went outside of the stage door before they went into the show because my mom was a huge fan of David Cassidy. So I just have that memory. And from what I remember of Blood Brothers is the mom always singing, they thought I was Marilyn Monroe.
Yes, that's true. Wait, were
Yeah.
you really little when you saw it?
Yes, I mean, my first Broadway show was Les Mis, and I was five. So my second show being Blood Brothers, I was probably around the same age or like a little bit
Oh
older.
my gosh, that
Yeah,
is so funny.
yeah.
Um,
I always tell people, I feel like at this point, I'm just like a really jaded theater goer because I've been seeing shows for so many years.
and that you could sit through those shows like as
Yeah.
a 5-year-old or 6-year-old.
Yeah. Well, no, it's for years I would like jokingly say to my mom, "Oh, you never take a 5-year-old to see Les Mis." And then at one point she said to me, "You need to get over it. The tickets were free." So I have come to love Les Mis. It's not like one of my main musicals. I mean, I recently saw the tour of it when I was in DC, but I do appreciate it more as an adult now,
Hmm.
which is funny because you were
Um,
also in Les Mis.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so now I lost the question of Blood
No, no, I was
Brothers.
just mentioning Blood
Oh,
Brothers. I'm just gonna like mention random things
oh,
that
okay.
we were in, just like highlights
Yes.
that I want to talk to you or just mention like you
Yes.
did this.
So Blood Brothers in college, I saw Blood Brothers because I spent a semester abroad.
Hmm.
And that was my musical. I like became obsessed with Blood Brothers. I'm not one of those people who goes to see shows a million times, but I saw Blood Brothers 3 times. Loved it. I thought the acting was incredible. And so then when I heard that it was coming to Broadway, I called my new agent and I was like, you got to get me in for this. And they're like, who are you? And somehow they got me in to like the final callbacks. Like I went in for the producers. Oh, and wait, this is a good tie-in too.
Yeah.
So I went in for Bill Kenwright was in the room and the director of the show. Everybody, that was my first audition for Blood Brothers somehow. And I was so, so excited because I loved this show so much. And I finished my audition and I sang I Just Want to Be a Star from Nonsense. I finished my audition and Bill Kenwright said, Carrie, I think you will be. And so then he gave me my first Broadway show and he passed away, I think last year. And I always wanted to work with him. I always wanted to like thank him for giving me my first big break. And his company produces Heathers.
I think there you
And so
go.
I knew, and when I didn't audition for Heather's, I
Mhm.
was sitting in the lobby of like Pearl Studios about to go to do a reading. And somebody came by and saw me. Larry O'Keefe saw me in the waiting room and was like, "You want to come in and say hi to the team?" And I was like, okay, sure. Like that's kind of strange, but sure. So I went and talked to them, and they started asking me about my outs and my Mama, I'm a Big Girl Now contract. And I'm like, well, it's just the three of us. Like we can say what goes.
Yeah.
And so then I called my agent. I was like, this strange thing happened. And they're like, oh, yeah, they're in talks having you go in for that show. I was like, oh. And then I did some research and I saw that Bill Kenwright's team was producing it. And I wrote them a note and I said, had I known that they were in a room, I would have thanked them because, I talk about him all the time. Like just, you always are so appreciative of the person who saw your talent before you had really any credits.
Yeah.
Um, and so then they said that he sent me to them, and I like to believe that that's true. And so now I feel like I'm working with Bill Kenwright again and able to thank him for
Yeah.
finding.
Yeah. Every time you're on that stage, it's for him pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so great. What a full circle moment too. And again,
yeah,
with
I know.
Larry O'Keefe, because Bat Boy, unfortunately didn't have that long of a run. And a funny thing too, I used to usher at the Union Square Theater that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh
And
gosh.
they used to have a poster of Bat Boy hanging up, like when
Oh.
you would go down to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I just know the poster so well. So
Yeah.
what was your experience like working on Bat Boy?
Well, it was crazy. So Bat Boy was my first time I ever originated a role. So
Mhm.
I also owe a lot to that team and Larry O'Keefe, my first cat. Um, and I, when I got the script and the audition, I was like, what is this? It's so strange. And I remember my agent being like, I saw the reading. It's really good. Trust me. So I went in, auditioned, got it. We were doing it. And then we weren't doing well at first. People didn't know what it was, couldn't find us. Then we started really building a following, a
Yeah.
serious cult following,
Mhm.
where people would do the dance moves with us. There would be a huge crowd outside. People would come again. People would come like 16 times. We knew the people, we knew our bats following. And then September 11th happened. And there was major talk that we were moving to Broadway. We were up for all kinds of awards. And then September 11th happened, and we were right across the street from the memorial for all the people. And for people who are listening who, don't know what that was like,
Yeah.
you know, these huge buildings crashed to the ground, and so many people didn't know whether or not people survived. Now we know that everyone died, but at that point there was like memorials all over, missing person, and people putting flowers and hoping they were going to find this person, and it was right across the street. So for us, like passing that every day to work, and I think for people to go down there was very depressing and hard, and also even a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Um, so we completely lost momentum, but we started inviting first responders to the show. And it was a really beautiful thing because they were like, I never thought I was going to laugh again. And they loved, and I was so, because, the show must go on. And it was
Yeah.
such a scary, hard time in New York City. Um, And you're just like, what am I doing? Like after this happened, how can I
Yeah.
be doing this stupid comedy that's just so fluffy and stupid? And I mean, I don't think it is that, but
Yeah.
when you're faced with such a traumatic situation, you're like, why am I entertaining people? Who can entertain people in such a hard time? And then, I think that was my first experience of seeing the power of theater and seeing how people need it. It's almost a way to give hope, a way to remind people that you're going to get through this and that you can laugh again, especially to the first responders. And so we would invite like firefighters and then meet them afterwards. But we never got back up to where we were and we couldn't make it through. And so I'd always hoped that Bat Boy would have another life because I think it is a brilliant show. The songs are so good. Just people love it, but it never had the recognition that it deserved.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people are excited about its return to New York, especially its city
I
center.
know.
And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, because again, I'm a fan of yours, so like whenever I see you like named in something, I always get excited. But the fact that you're actually going back into the show in a different role, playing essentially like your mom, that the part that you originated, I think a lot of people are just very excited. And Marissa Winokur is also in the show. So you
Oh
got
my gosh.
another Hairspray reunion
Yes.
and Mom, I'm a Big Girl Now reunion. And I have to say,
Yes.
you have such good social media content. And
Oh,
with
thanks.
you having her as your teenage daughter in some of your roles is just so great. So I'm very much looking forward to the content you guys do.
Oh, I already said that to her. I was like, you know, we're going to be working that social media, Marissa.
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And like what a great way to advertise like Mom, I'm a big girl now, but like her as your teenage daughter in the show. It's perfect. So speaking of Hairspray, like I said, that's how I was introduced. I'm a firm believer that Hairspray does need to come back to Broadway. I feel
Mm.
like we just need it for many reasons, which we won't have to get into. But how did that come into your life? Because did you start with the reading? I can't remember what I.
Yeah, I did, but it did come because of Bat Boy. They
Oh,
saw
okay.
me in Bat Boy, and then I got the audition for Penny for the reading of Penny, and they, I guess, let's see, I made an audition kind of like Penny Pingleton, like I went Pingleton. I sang this song, Gee Whiz. I made up this whole scene, and they were like, when you left, we were like, that's it, obviously. And so then I was on the third reading of Hairspray. They had already done two. One, they had cut Penny out, and John Waters came and was like, you can't cut Penny out.
Yeah.
So me and Jackie Hoffman were the additions to the third reading. So many people stayed with it the entire time. Marissa was with it the entire time. Laura was with the entire time. Marissa was with it, but we talked about this in our show.
Mhm.
They would constantly say, "But we're looking for somebody to actually play Tracy. You're not going to be playing Tracy." And so she did every single reading
Mhm.
with them saying, like, "But it's probably not going to be you."
That's terrible. I feel like that happens to a lot of people, and then they end up doing the show.
Luckily, yeah,
Yeah.
luckily Marissa ended up doing it. So yeah, we did the first few readings and that was just magical. Like we would finish the reading and be like, oh, we are in, like you could just, there was just like crazy buzz in the air. And
Yeah.
also like even the readings were star-studded because Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman are friends with like every celebrity. So
Yeah.
we're like, oh my gosh. And then they would have these crazy parties where like Patty LuPone would be there, Sarah Jessica Parker would be there. We're like, what is our life? you
Yeah.
know? So it was definitely like the craziest time of my life. And we all were best friends and just, I mean, that was one of the best times of my life, I'd say,
Yeah.
doing that show. Also, it's like your first time where you're in this massive hit.
Yeah.
So that's something that you will never forget.
Yeah, and it's so amazing too that Hairspray, even after, it's not on Broadway anymore, it's had such a life. And I even remember when they did the Hairspray live on TV, I would just sing along to it. And I still sometimes bring up Jennifer Hudson's riff when Tracy's
Mhm.
getting arrested because I don't want to sing, but she was like, "Stay," like repeatedly on live. And I was just so obsessed with the fact that she did that.
It's
Uh,
so funny.
yeah. So I just also want to mention that because I really want to get into Heather's, but you were Xanadu, Tony nominated, Rock of Ages, Catch Me If You Can, which was also great. I don't think that had a long enough life. And also The Best Man, which was your first actual play on Broadway. So I'd love to talk
Mhm.
to you about what it's like for you doing a straight play. I mean, I'm sure because you have a lot of film and TV credits, you've done commercials, but it's, for those listening and who don't know, it is different. And how is it and you had a cast with that
Yes.
production. Like,
Oh
and it
my
brought you
gosh. Like,
back to the Neil Simon where you did Hairspray. So what
yeah.
was it like doing your first play on the Broadway?
I was so nervous at first. I mean, James Earl Jones was in the cast, Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
Like I went in there prepared. and and I remember James Earl Jones said to me after, like I went to talked to him one day and he was like, when I saw you at that reading, I was like, I better bring it. She is because I was like, I'd already worked with a dialect coach. I was like, I am not going to be the weak link in this cast. But I do think it's very similar to musical. I mean, it's easier
Yeah.
because we don't have to worry about our voice all the time, which is the hardest part of doing a musical. And and also my part was comedic, and so much of comedy, I think, is music,
Mhm.
like thinking about the notes and the rests and the music of a joke almost. So and also Southern, and so it was very like da-da-da-da-da-da, like my speech pattern. Um, so I would say the main I mean, it's all you want to come from a place of truth for everything, whether you're doing musical, whether you're doing a play, whether you're doing theater. I would say the biggest difference is actually doing the difference between doing theater and doing film.
Mhm.
That is sort of the hardest thing for me, because I'm a little bit larger than life
Mhm.
in normal. So
Yeah.
to kind of bring that down to nothing,
Mhm.
which is what you have to do on camera, that's harder than doing a play for me. Like there isn't that much difference, except that it's way easier because you don't have to sing.
Yeah.
It's like a walk in the park.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know you did two episodes of Law and Order SVU, but whenever I think about you on SVU, I always think about that one episode, and I can't remember if you died or not, but
Yes, when I died. Yeah.
oh yes, when you died, I'm sorry. And then there's like and they don't know what happened to you and something with the husband, but then you have
Yes.
the video that was
Uh-huh.
sent to the husband at the end. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was trying to remember, I'm like, did she die? I don't remember because you were like,
I was found in a rowboat in Central Park.
okay, now it's not coming back to me. But it'll watch it be on TV either like later today or tomorrow.
Right.
Because that always happens. If I think about something like a TV show or a song, I'll either hear the song later that day or the next day, or I'll see that
Mhm.
episode later that day or the next day.
Mhm.
So your residual check will be in the mail
Yeah,
soon.
I'm like, here's hoping.
Yeah, here's
Here's
how we're putting it out
hoping.
there. Be like,
Because
oh,
how I
Harlan
like the money.
mentioned it. Here it is. Yes, because we love money and singing, or singing and money, which is important. So, I people who have listened to this podcast know that I have manifested for many years that ragtime come to Lincoln Center.
Rap time is my favorite.
Yeah. So not to be like be that person, but I do or I may or may not have gotten tickets for Sandy previews um for ragtime, but because you did the concert of
Hmm.
ragtime as Evelyn Nesbit, I'd love to talk to you about that experience because whenever I see anybody do ragtime, I just want to talk to them about it.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. So please, what was your experience like? I mean, even though it was just a concert at Avery Fisher Hall, I'd just love to
Ragtime
know.
is one of my all-time favorite shows.
Yeah.
100%. Um, and I didn't discover it until later, like that revival. Remember that revival that was like really kind of pared down?
Yeah. I
Uh,
think it was also at the Neil Simon.
I don't remember where it was, but I just remember falling. I remember Lin-Manuel Miranda sitting in front of me, and both of us, like when he runs out at the end, like, both
Mhm.
of us just sobbing, falling out of our seats, crying, and just I love it so, so much. So yes, getting to be a part of it in any way was incredible, and that's a really fun part that I got to play. And that was written by Terrence McNally, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Hmm.
Yes. And so I think I got it because I worked with Terrence McNally on Catch Me If You Can. So I adore Terrence McNally. So getting to also, he was alive when we did that. So getting to work with him again was a
Yeah.
really big treat.
Yeah. So I just realized you have a trend of doing cult classic movies and
Yes.
musicals.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I would be remiss if I don't quickly mention Mean Girls, which was so great. But I want to concentrate more on Beetlejuice because I feel like Beetlejuice has just taken off and has had an incredible life, and it's even coming back to Broadway.
Yes.
So pretentious how I just said that. But
I loved it.
it's coming back to the Broadway. And I don't even know if they announced the cast or anything yet. They might have, and I missed it. But What was your experience like working with Beetlejuice? Because you were also on the show when COVID happened, so you were even a part of it when it came back and then when it moved to theaters.
Yeah, it was so great. I was involved with Beetlejuice from the very, very first reading, and I had always manifested working with Alex Timbers, our director,
Yeah.
and so I was so excited to finally get to work with him. Mark Kaufman, who produced it, produced Hairspray, so I'd already worked with him, and I love working with him. So it was a really incredible experience. Another one where I just thought, oh, this has to be a, and then when we did Out of Town in DC, it kind of wasn't the hit that I thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
But I mean, people still loved it,
Yeah.
but it was too dark. It really needed to be more for families. And so they needed to tone it down a little bit. And the creative team made like great choices. And then when we opened up on Broadway, uh, it kind of followed the same trajectory as Bat Boy, where it was like building momentum, building momentum, and then COVID hit right as we were like, like doing amazing business. People were huge. It was huge on TikTok. We were selling out, it was doing so, so good. COVID hits. And so then we came back and people were very, very excited about us coming back. But it's still, again, like had lost that momentum that was really, really building before. And so and it also, that was such a hard time to be on Broadway. Because I was like locked in my dressing room. I was so afraid of getting sick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this time I really, really saw the power of theater when we came back because I was like, we need theater we need to see each other's humanity.
Yeah.
This laughing together is how we really connect again. And I just felt that. I felt that from the audience. I felt it sitting in audiences helped me heal
Yeah.
after COVID. I was so afraid I was like becoming a recluse, I was fine being alone. I liked being alone. And every time I went to see a show, I felt like, okay, okay, I can be around people again.
Yeah.
And then just getting to do this show and getting to make people laugh and cry, I felt like was a real gift after COVID. And I really saw my purpose. I feel like I always did feel like doing theater was just something for me in a way, and it was selfish and it was like my calling, but I wasn't doing anything for anybody else. And I think after that time, I really saw the value of theater in a deep, deep way.
Yeah. And speaking as an audience member too, I think there was such a crave of it because, we didn't have theater for
Yes.
like 18 months. And
Yeah. And I remember thinking, like, am I
yeah,
ever going to be able to do this again? Like,
yeah.
come back? Are we going to get through this? I really questioned whether I was going to be able to be an actress anymore.
Yeah, and I mean during the pandemic I did a bunch of virtual play readings and that was a common question that a lot of the actors I worked with would have and it was like what are you doing during the pandemic? How are you staying sane? And I remember I was in rehearsal with one actor and he had so much pent up energy that he was like flailing on the floor and all over the place just like on a camera because he hasn't performed in so long. But I went to the opening night of Waitress when it reopened, which was the first musical to reopen on Broadway. And I think the craving that people had for live theater, there was a standing ovation before the curtain even rose.
Yeah.
And that was such a special moment to be a part of because people missed it and they missed live theater and they missed being entertained. And for me, like theater is escapism and entertainment and just I'm a nerd about theater. I just love it so much. So yeah, I'll
And I
just
do feel like during COVID,
yeah.
especially like our world became so divided, like politically. And I know we don't talk about politics, but I'm just saying it's
It can be
divided.
brought up. It's fine.
And during, and that is the value of theater, I think. It's that it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you believe this, if you believe this, we can laugh together at the same things. We can
Yeah.
cry together at the same things. So if we can find that commonality,
Hmm.
then we are connected and we can see our connection. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if we disagree on certain issues. And
Yeah.
so I think that is also like a huge, important value that theater brings to the world.
Yeah. So let's talk Heathers now. So you briefly
Okay.
mentioned how you were kind of involved with Heathers. So what is it, or how it came about to you? So what is it like, coming back and working with Larry O'Keefe or Lawrence O'Keefe for those of us who don't know him personally?
It's great. Larry is, a very good friend now, and I have done several things for him over the years. Like I did all the demos for Legally Blonde. I did the very first reading of Legally Blonde. I've done stuff for his other show, Huzzah, before. Like throughout the years, he'll kind of ask me to do stuff, and so that has been great. Although he got sick, rehearsal for Heather's was so fast. It was the shortest rehearsal I've ever had for anything. It was
Oh,
a
wow.
month. Um, and I think that might include previews. Previews were like, I mean, not tech. Tech was only like 4 days.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was insane. So and then Larry got COVID during our rehearsal process. So I didn't get to spend as much time with him as I hoped because 2 weeks of that whole time he was gone.
Yeah.
Um, Forward to spending more time with him during Bat Boy. Uh, but so yeah, it was just, I mean, it just feels like coming home working with him, working with these people that when you were just starting out is so special.
Yeah. And what I find so great about Heather's too is, again, I saw the original. I did merch there sometimes, and it wasn't as big as of a hit when it was first off Broadway. And I remember one year I was doing merch at Comic-Con or Broadway Con, excuse me, the Broadway's version of Comic-Con, and I saw all of these teenagers dressed as different Heathers. And I
Hmm.
just didn't understand it. And I was like, these people are so young. How do they know about Heathers? And I asked one of them, I said, how do you know about Heathers? And they said, oh, the bootleg online. And
Yes.
it just grew so much in popularity. And even to see the popularity that it had for years, even in London,
Yes.
because I know that
Yeah.
they extended, they moved theaters, they changed the show a little bit. Did you ever see the original production off Broadway? Were you aware of it? It totally.
I was aware of it, but I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Hmm.
Um, and it's funny because somebody, like, I feel like maybe when we were in previews, a good friend of mine came to see the show. And, I think who, I mean, people my age who don't know the show as well, will be like, so did you know this show, like doing an off-Broadway show, and
Yeah.
in a smaller part in an off-Broadway show, did you know that this was going to be a hit? And I was like, yeah, I did actually, because I coach so many young girls on
Yeah.
singing and everybody wants to sing from Heather's. So I'm like, okay, there is something here.
Hmm.
And I just knew that it was going to be a hit.
Yeah. Oh, for years and still, Dead Girl Walking, I sing terribly in my apartment. 17, I sing terribly in my apartment. And that's been like 10 years of
Wow.
singing it because I just think those songs are so good.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like doing the show, I'm like, oh, I enjoy listening to these people. And the cast is like off the charts.
I was
And
about to say, I like a good casting, and
mhm,
let me tell you, they nailed it with this casting because every person I was like, yep, absolutely
yeah,
correct. That makes sense. This is I even remember like putting on Instagram when they announced Veronica and JD. I know what their
yeah,
names are, but I feel like if I say it right now, I'm gonna mess it up. Casey likes
Lorna,
Courtney.
Lorna Courtney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lorna Courtney. See, I already messed it up. But as soon as they announced them, I just remember putting on Instagram. I'm like, this is an example of excellent casting.
Yeah. And like listening to them sing those songs every night, like,
Yeah.
whew, so good.
Yeah. So what is the fans of Heather? Do the fans of Heathers have a name? I'm not really the Heathers?
Yes, they
Okay.
know
Oh,
they're corn nuts.
oh yes, that does make sense. And I feel like, it's funny. I remember doing merch there, and then if people bought like a certain amount of stuff, we would give them corn nuts.
Oh, I don't know if they do that now.
I have no idea. I don't work
They
there.
do have the crop shirts though.
Okay. I don't know if it says big,
Not
fun,
big
but
fun. It's
it's
not, I don't think it's
okay.
big fun, but they have the crop shirts.
So I do like a crop shirt. I don't wear them out in the world, but I wear them all the time in my apartment. And that's what I tell people too. It's 2025. You can wear a crop top out. Nobody's looking. But so how have the corn nuts been? Because I've seen the stage door photos, and I remember I was working somewhere and someone was talking about seeing Heather's and they really wanted to go to the stage door. And I said, ask the people at the theater where it is and maybe leave a curtain call to make sure you get a good spot at the stage door.
Yeah, it's insane. Every single night, it's humongous,
Mhm.
and tons and tons of people dressed up.
Yeah,
Um, someone the other day asked me to sign a line from the show that they're turning into a tattoo.
yeah, yeah. That's wild. And your writing will forever be on their body.
I already had someone, I think there's at least two people who have my headshot as a tattoo. Possibly, hopefully they've gotten it removed if they've thought better.
That's
Like,
so funny.
10, 20 years later, they're like, why did I do that? But
Was that the
it was denied.
Hairspray days? They're
Hmm?
like, what's he gonna do?
Um, I feel like it wasn't Hairspray. I feel like it was Xanadu.
Okay, that
I
makes
might be
sense.
wrong, but I think it was
Yeah.
Xanadu.
Maybe it's like your headshot on roller skates. Yeah. So I do, if for those listening, just, another PSA that you will be out of Heather's from October 10th to November 10th to do Bad Boy, which will be at City
Yes.
Center on, oh my God, I wrote it down, October 29th to November 9th, and a perfect show for Halloween
Yes.
to see it on Halloween. And so Heather's is actually, for those listening, is at New World Stages until January 25th, which is so exciting because opening night you found out about the extension.
Right. And
Yeah.
it is so crazy. You're right. Like, I don't know how I get these parts, but I get in all of these cult classic shows, like between now Heather's,
Hmm.
Bat Boy, Beetlejuice. It's all the same audience.
Yeah.
All these people who like spooky, dark things. And
Yeah. Now I'm just trying to think like what other, if they ever do a musical of The Craft
oh,
or,
yeah, please. Yeah, let
yeah.
me know shows.
Well,
We'll
I
start
mean, like,
manifesting.
yeah, Mean Girls isn't like spooky or scary. I mean, they're doing the Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion musical, which is called
And I did
Class.
one of the readings of that.
You go. I'm very particular when it comes to like movies I love that they turn into musicals. Like I was very like, all right, Almost Famous, don't mess this up.
Uh-huh, yeah.
And the same thing with Romeo and Michelle. So I'm very curious to see what they do with it, and not in a bad way.
Oh wait, what's that movie that I don't even watch scary movies, but what's that movie with Patrick Wilson? Was that The
Oh, The
Conjuring?
Conjuring. I don't watch them either, but
Maybe The Conjuring the musical.
well, I think he's
We'll
producing
put that
Lost
out there.
Boys, so maybe like
He
once
is.
that's done, and The Conjuring, give it like 5 to 10 more years, and
All
you
right, but
can.
you heard it first on this podcast.
Yeah, we manifest on this podcast, so we're gonna manifest The
I
Conjuring
just
for you.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other cult? So, I mean, we're figuring this out now. Do you have any dream roles or projects other than like cult classic movies that you would like to be a part of?
I would always, I always say I want to do Blood Brothers again
Hmm.
because I understudied. I played a small part and I understudied. I never got to go on. So I would want to be the person singing about Marilyn Monroe that you remember.
That's fair.
I would, I would
Mhm.
love to play. I'm old enough to play that part now. Or I would really play any of the women in that show. I love that show so, so much.
Yeah.
Um, but I love originating new roles, and I'm working on a bunch of new musicals that hopefully will get a theater and I will be able to be a part of. So yeah, that's my favorite. My favorite is just getting to create something new.
Yeah, singing and money. That's the
Yep.
thing. Yeah. Do you have any top going theater experiences?
Hmm. I feel like I do. Shoot, I should have prepared better because I know that. Okay, okay. Yes. Um, John Proctor.
Girl, let's have a
Ha
conversation. You don't.
okay, I went with my 13-year-old daughter and who doesn't even really love she loves musicals. She doesn't love straight plays.
Mhm.
We were like blown away, like mind blown. Like I could not stop talking about that to anyone I saw. And like for her to love it and for us to have that experience together
Mhm.
was just something I will remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that I. I've been telling people that this Broadway season that we just had, there are two shows that I am slightly obsessed with. One of them was Sunset Boulevard, and the other is John Proctor's The Villain.
I didn't
And
get to see Sunset Boulevard. I'm bummed. I'm
it's
really bummed about that.
okay. I'm sure you can find a slime tutorial somewhere at some point, or just like videos of Tom Francis walking in Schubert
Right.
Alley. There's
Yes,
plenty of
yes.
those out there. Um,
Hmm.
but no, John Proctor's The Villain. I work merch for a different company, and that's one of the shows that they have. So I saw the show with TDF. I loved it. And then every time I've worked at the show, with the exception of one time, I've stood in the back of the theater and watched the show. I just, that show just has a hold on me for whatever reason.
Me too.
And yeah, I was lucky enough to interview Gabriel Ebert. And
Ah, I loved
yeah,
him.
yeah. So I tried and I luckily got a shift before I saw the show just to study him and his performance. So I was really
Oh,
excited.
his performance
Yeah.
was perfection.
Yeah.
Like I thought
Yeah.
he should, I mean, I didn't see everybody, but I thought he should have won a Tony. Just, I mean, the different levels, the different layers, the different nuances. Oh,
Yeah. Not, and for those listening, if you haven't seen John Proctor, this will be a spoiler. Sorry, but that episode I had with him did contain a lot of spoilers. But there was one moment I loved in particular during the final scene where
mhm.
one of the girls says something to him and he's, la-di-da-di-da, like
Yes.
sitting here. And then he has this moment where he turns away and he just has this like
Oof.
look on his
Yes.
face and then he turns back like la-di-da-di-da. And I was so happy I got to ask him about that scene, that moment too, because I feel like especially with theater, performers are performing and doing whatever, and you sometimes can miss something. So I was really happy
Yeah.
I caught that moment of his.
I'm gonna listen to that podcast now
Oh,
because I'm obsessed with his performance.
yeah, and he's so
Um,
wonderful and he's so lovely too. And it's the second half of the episode. I mean, you can listen to the whole thing. It's less than an hour, but yeah, but so okay, John Proctor convelled both of us. Anything else? I mean, it could be anything in your lifetime.
Oh, in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, we've already talked about Ragtime, Blood Brothers.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, if that's it, we can move on.
no, no, I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
there's so many. I mean, anything with Burnett Peters. I've seen her a bunch of times
I
and
got to
she's
see her
my
in
idol.
Hello Dolly, and
I didn't see that one.
it's
I was
okay.
bummed.
I'm sure you'll see her.
Just
I'm
giving me
sure you'll come back and
validation.
something else.
So many times when you're in a show,
Yeah,
like the last thing you want to do on your day off is be in a theater.
yeah,
So I only really get to see other things when I am not in a show. I'm gonna go see Just in Time. I'm gonna see that in once my kids go back to school. I'm gonna see that like in the fall because we have Thursday matinees, and so we have a few sh times when we can see other shows.
yeah. So, are you up to doing the Inside the Actor Studio
Oh,
questions?
sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, cool. Let me just move this so I can pull
I
it
don't
up.
remember them.
It's okay. Not many people do, and that's what's so fun about this. Okay.
Okay.
What is your favorite word?
My favorite
Word.
word, just any word.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Gratitude.
What is your least favorite word?
Hmm. Fear.
What turns you on?
Um, talent.
What turns you off?
Hypocrisy.
What is your favorite curse word?
Shapoopy.
Do you sing the song as well?
No, I just say shapoopy all the time.
Perfect. Now I have the song in my head. What sound or noise do you love?
No, oh, I love kids laughing.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Uh, nails on chalkboard.
What profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
Oh, well, I still think about like retirement. Love to work with kids. I would love, not in theater. I would love to like just be in like a nursery school helper or like a social worker that helps little kids. I want my second half of my life to have a little bit more of that.
What profession would you not like to do?
Hmm. Um, I guess anything where you'd have to go to an office 9 to 5.
I've been there. It's not fun. Um,
Mm.
if heaven exists, this is the final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Um, Welcome home. There's no line on Space Mountain.
Any Disney reference gets an applause.
Yeah.
So that was excellent. So before we end, again, thank you so much for coming on. It's so lovely to chat with you. But let's talk more Heathers. Why should people go to see Heathers? What's your elevator pitch? I mean, I don't think it's hard to get people to see Heathers, to be completely
Yeah.
honest with you. But
Yeah,
if
we're selling out all
oh,
the
I
time.
I know I've been attempting and failing to get rush tickets, but it's fine. I will see it and I'm looking forward to it. What is your elevator pitch for Heathers?
I would say it's really funny, dark comedy, amazing music. And I would say, teens really, really respond to it. And it is they're scared as a mom, like what am I putting out there? But teens need it's in their world.
Yeah.
And so I feel like this is saying to teens, like, we see you, we know how hard it is, and we're not just ignoring that it's easy being a teen, and that we're not just ignoring that this violence isn't there. We're acknowledging it, and we see you. So, and I think that's what teens are feeling. And so I think for parents, I know that fear in sort of monitoring what you take your kids to, and don't blame me if you come and you're like, whoa, it is dark. But I will say parents love coming with their kids and
Mhm.
having like real conversations afterwards. And parents love dressing up with their kids. And it is something that parents can share with their kids.
That's so great. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for coming on. You can stay on when we're done recording. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Again, please go see Heathers. It is now at New World Stages until January 25th. And as a friendly reminder, Carrie will be out of the show from October 10th to November 10th to be in Bat Boy, the musical at City Center, which you can also get tickets to. And thank you so much for listening.